Right, do it again.
Oh, nice.
No, one more go. One more go.
That's
now you're just breaking the book. What this is I'm going to go through, if you can, like a book spa. No, don't make that face. No, don't make that face. No, please don't. Okay.
Where do you want me to start? Hello, my name is Ed. I work at Mr. B's, and these are my favourites. All of them are available online and can be posted to you from our website. The first of these is one of my absolute favourite crime novels, Total Chaos by Jean-Claude Itzot. A really classy piece of noir writing, quite reminiscent of Rankin and with a certain touch of Chandler as well, where Marseille is one of the biggest characters in it. So it's all about corruption. It's about a young man who has escaped this world that he grew up in and coming back to investigate the disappearance of his friends, is dragged back into the world he got out of and is forced to confront the people he stepped on to get out in the first place. It's looking at a very contemporary Marseille, full of racism, full of corruption of the police force. It has all the sort of darkness going on, but has this beautiful description of sun-drenched terraces and cafe culture to go alongside it. So it's not just one-dimensional in any way. So this is called The Cone Gatherers by Robin Jenkins. It was written, I believe, early 50s. Hasn't aged one jot, still feels as if it was written yesterday. A deeply affecting book. It's sort of the mice and men of the Highlands, it feels like. He underwrites incredibly so that he understands the intelligence of the author, of the reader to a great degree. It's about two lovely boys whose war work is collecting pine cones for the seeds to replenish pine stock. And they're lovely, should get on like a house on fire with the lady who runs the massive estate that they work on. The only problem is that they have no point of contact other than the gamekeeper, who sees these boys as anathema. They're only his land and he wants them gone. And it's all about him and his attempts to destroy these boys. It is a tragedy, should be deeply tragic, but I think there's a real hopefulness to it too, in that actually it's sort of a love poem to humanism as well. Everything this bastard does to try and turn the community against them is sort of stymied by the decency of that community. St. Agnes Stand by Thomas Eidson. Right, I love this book. I love a Western generally, and this is one of the best. Almost unheard of now, but was huge back in the day. So this is a book about a triangle, basically. And basically it is a gunman riding away across the landscape, turns a corner, and there's a group of wagons rallied together being attacked. He's not bothered, this is not his problem, so he starts to ride off, and looks over his shoulder, catches sight of a face on one of these wagons, and realises he can't ride away anymore. There's a connection made. And it's a book about fate, the different fates of these three characters. So the second one is perhaps the most strong one. That's St. Agnes herself. So she's a nun who her final prayer has been that someone would come and save them, and along has ridden this man who absolutely refutes that he's got any sort of angelic qualities, let alone sent from heaven, but she sees something in him which he doesn't even recognise in himself. And her sort of struggle with religion, her struggles with him are just beautifully done. She's powerful. And the third character is the Indian chief who is leading this attack, who this was an easy job for him, and now it's not any longer. There's a professional in their midst, and he wants to ride away but can't. He sees that he has to save face with the people he's riding with, so he has to see this through to conclusion. Beautifully written, storytelling is fantastic. So this is my guilty pleasure book. I just am deeply in love with this man. I have a huge crush on Longmire generally. It's quite helpful that my wife has a huge crush on the guy who plays him in the TV series as well, so that's great. It is about a fundamentally decent man who is a sheriff in Wyoming. He polices his own county, and he also polices the Crow and the Cheyenne reservations as well, so you get great cultural stuff going back and forth. It's called Hell is Empty. It's by Craig Johnson. and he breaks every detective rule. He has no drink problem, no drug problem, no deep dark secret that's eating away at him. And he has a fantastic relationship with his daughter. It should be light, but actually the storytelling is fantastic, the character writing is fantastic. If you don't fall in love with this character, there's something very wrong. So a non-fiction one, this is called Black Sunset by Clancy Siegel. So this is about a guy who was fresh back from the war, obsessed by Hollywood, so he rushed off there and became an agent for one of the biggest Hollywood agencies going. His mother was one of the great union agitators of that period, and as a result, she and he were on the top of most watch lists by McCarthy and the House of Un-American Activities. It is a book about cowardice, really. It's a book about Hollywood's cowardice in the face of the witch hunts. It's about America's cowardice. It's about his own cowardice as well. It's brilliantly written. It's like a better Kerouac, and I'm fascinated by that period as one of the blackest periods in American history. So my final one is a book that I know I would have chewed a leg off for when I was 16. It's, apart from the foul language and slight sexual nature of some of it, would be absolutely fine for most kids to read as well. It's called Billy Lynns' Long Half-Time Walk by Ben Fountain. Firstly, the writing is amazing. It's subtle, it's clever, it's never tub-thumping, but it's very political. It plays with sort of humour and politics and voice and character. It's so nuanced. So it's about a young boy who is back from his tour in Iraq. He and his unit have done a random act of bravery which has gone viral back at home. They've been plucked out and sent on a victory tour of the States. And basically this book is about 4 hours. So the tour is over. This is their last stint. They're booked with Destiny's Child to appear on national TV. And everyone thinks they're heroes. They're going home. They know they're not. They know that actually this is their last chance, that these last 4 hours they've got to try and cram first love, a movie deal, some form of future has to be crammed into this last 4 hours. Billy is he's just a lovely, sometimes worldly, sometimes idiotic 19-year-old who is just trying to work out what's going on as he's been forced to see his own country for the first time. So they've been fighting for a nation they didn't know at all. They're all working class boys who've kind of been educated by the army. And actually it's been fairly horrifying for them to see what they've been fighting for. And actually you just want it to work out for him. Even though you can see it's going wrong, you want it to work out for him. Beyonce's also brilliant in it. And my last one is just an angry one that actually, this is on Tom's favourites. This was my book of the year last year. Tom did discover it, so it's fair that he's got it, and he did tell me to read it, but I would love to have had this on mine, but I wasn't allowed to read this book. She is extraordinary. She writes, every sentence is astounding, and this is something to be watched, and as soon as Tom drops it from his favourites, I'm putting it onto mine immediately, just to... Thank you very much indeed. I hope it didn't go on too long. All these books are available on our website, and we can post them all out to you, and they will arrive incredibly fast as well. Any other recommendations you need, give us a shout. Thank you.